we're going to talk about a book for just a minute. It's Chase the Lion by Mark Batterson. And we both read through this book separately, but we both read it. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about it in case you're looking for a good book to read. It says, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's too small. So this is a book full of like testimonies of other people following their dreams, people that were like coming from nothing and ended up, with following through with their dreams and ending up with all this success and different things like that, and just following through with what God was calling them to do. So he gives a lot of examples of different people who have done that. And what else?
Yeah, well, he also, not only in modern times, but he also talks about people in the Bible who also do the same thing, follow their dreams to have big dreams and things like that God calls.
Yeah, because he's a pastor, so...
Yeah, he's the pastor of National Community Church in D.C., arguably the most influential church in America, just because of where it's at, how big it is. But he's also the author of the book Circle Maker, which is also a great book that we both read.
Mm-hmm.
So we recommend that one too. But today it's Chase the Lion.
Yeah.
And I really like the little subtitle there. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. Because it really calls you to, you're talking about the God of the universe that created the universe, who can do anything. Why is your dream so small? And if it's something you can do in a year, it's not really a dream, that's a goal. If it's something you think you can do in 10 years, well, then you might be talking. And one of the good quotes he has in this that I really like is we overestimate what we can do in a year, we underestimate what we can do in 10. And I think that really goes to show that just where we are in our mindsets and our time spans. And you can say something now.
Okay, so what goes along with that is there's a quote in here. I'm going to read a few different quotes just so you can get an idea of what, like, the value that he adds in this book. And so one of them is, most people believe God is real, but few people actually live like it. They allow their circumstances to get between them and God instead of letting God get between them and their circumstances. So you mentioned something about, what did you say? Something like, if we live, like, if we choose to live our lives like we truly have the Holy Spirit living inside of us, we should be living in a lot different of a mindset. It should be more like where we are living like God is real, not just, believing that he's real. And that includes like believing in miracles and believing that you can achieve whatever God calls you to do, because he's the one calling you to it, and he's the one who's going to give you everything you need to achieve it. So let's see, some more quotes in here. Excellence honors God, so we need to get better and better at whatever we're called to do, and it happens little by little, day by day. And so that stands out to me, because we want things to happen so quickly in our lives that we forget that it happens in the day-to-day. It's not just you wake up one morning and everything is completely different. It's day by day. And until the pain of staying the same becomes more acute than the pain of change, nothing happens. We simply maintain the status quo, and we convince ourselves that playing it safe is safe, but the greatest risk is taking no risks at all. And so he goes into a lot of details in here about his story and how he started this church and how he started this Ebenezer's coffee house and everything in DC. And it's really inspiring and encouraging. Everything in this book is just very uplifting and inspiring, and it really shows you that whenever you follow what God says and you believe that what you heard from God is going to come to pass, it's just so inspiring to see him talk about that in this book.
Going back to that quote you just read, because there's a lot more to that quote specifically, where it talks about, I can't remember what book he got it from, but essentially it's the thought that everything is pain. And so whenever you're making a decision, you're talking about, it says, if you don't choose to change, you choose to stay the same. Either way, there's pain. Yes. You can deal with the pain of changing, or you can deal with the pain of staying the same. And it's up to you to choose that. But it's the same, and that can go so much deeper in terms of like, and for instance, you get the vibe to go talk to someone at church that's sitting alone or something like that, and you're like, oh man, I don't talk to strangers. My mama told me not to talk to strangers, but you get the vibe to do that, and it's like, okay, are you going to deal with the pain of going and talking to that person and being uncomfortable with that pain, or are you going to deal with the pain of not having done it and thinking about it once you leave, like, oh,
Yeah.
I should have done that. Or when you get to heaven and Jesus is like, hey, you should talk to that person, here's why. And either way, there's pain. There's pain in every decision. You get to pick your pain. And choice is something that God gives to everybody, which I think is an amazing thing. But we're not going to talk about choice today.
Yes.
But some things that I think are cool out of this book, too, is a main focus in the book is, for one, how dreams are generational, I guess you would say. Is that the word for it, generational? It's a dream within a dream is how the book says it. But also, if you're going to think big, you're going to have a big dream, you're going to think long. A big dream is a long dream. And so he's talking about, his dream, his church took over a church in D.C. that was kind of on the verge of dying. Or, they needed to move or something. Anyways, it was that church's dream to have happen what their church did.
Yes.
A dream within a dream.
So your dreams matter long past, like, when you die. It's going to continue into your kids and their kids and their kids. And it just continues to matter, is basically to sum that up. So anyway, this is getting long.
Wait, I got one more. I just had a thought.
Yeah, hurry up.
Your choices that you make in this life, however long it may be, impact the next 100 years.
Yes.
Of, if not anybody else, your family.
Yes, so they're very important.
Your choices.
Okay, so to wrap this up, in the back of the book they have
Discussion
questions here. So if you are looking to do this with a group or just on your own, you can answer the questions.
Husband,
just know
wife.
that there is questions in the back that
are great.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our little book review that we had here. And anyways, I'm sorry this is so long, but there's just so much good things to say about this. We could continue this on, but anyways, you definitely need to get this book.
It's only 200 pages. You can read it in a weekend.